I just wanted to make a pretty brief video talking about a question that I was asked about why do so many people gravitate to personality types and personality systems and get really excited about discovering or testing for their type, but don't really seem to want to use that information to really actually understand themselves better and grow from that information, or to really use that information to work on themselves in some way. And I had a two-part answer to this. The first one is that I think people really want to know themselves, but what that really means is to know where they fit in. And that's part of knowing yourself, is knowing where you fit in. But I think the draw is often just that part, just knowing how do I fit in to the group of people around me, especially, and in what context? Like, what's the context of that group, and where do I fit into that context? Where do I fit in? And I think this is just normal. I think it just happens. I do it. I don't see people not wanting to fit into their groups, and so I think it's fine, and you see it a lot. And I think I felt this the most when I was like in my late teen years, and probably before that, but late teen years is when I personally got into Myers-Briggs and personality systems, and that was a time where I didn't know where I fit in. And then the second part is people want to know why, want to have an explanation for why they're different, and and to feel normal in the ways that make us feel weird. So this was very true for me, and I just remember feeling different, feeling very weird, and feeling like maybe there was something wrong with me and needed to get myself checked out mentally. And I think really looking back, what felt was mostly what most people at that age are feeling, and having a personality type, taking a test, getting into this kind of information, and getting the label, made me feel like was normal, because once I read a personality type description that resonated with me, then I felt like I had a place, and I felt like the things that made me weird weren't wrong. They were just my way of being weird. Like, they were normal for me. And I think there's a lot of validity to that, as you take personality types and personality systems deeper and more seriously. But I do see a lot of I see a lot of people taking the system and taking the label and only making them feel valid and feel like there is a reason for what they are. There is a reason for why they are the way they are, and that there being a reason and it being normal means it's out of their control, and they don't need to change. I don't need to change because I just am this way, and I didn't choose to be this way. So, what am I going to do about it? It is the way it is. I am the way I am. And I think the second reason especially is why a lot of people gravitate away from personality types, as well as many people gravitating towards them. And I think it's the biggest reason is the people gravitating towards personality types for the reason of having a fixed mindset about their actions and their behavior and their personality. And a lot of people will push back on personality systems and say, well, my personality can change over time. My personality does change over time. I see other people changing, and it's like, that's actually a really fair statement. And if you want to have everyone who's wanting to grow as people also know that we all have that mindset. We all have this force in us of wanting to be comfortable and stay in the familiar patterns of behavior that we've grown up with and established. And so it makes sense to actually resist labels and personality systems and very reductive ways of viewing patterns of behavior in people. And I'm someone who's tremendously invested and a fan of personality systems, at least certain systems. And I think without those systems, I would still find myself coming up with categories and reductive categories and labels for understanding myself and other people, and the sort of the way we all fit in together. And but I think that is, not, if you gravitate away from personality types and systems, you don't necessarily know why that is. And so that's why it was good for me to think about and answer this question. And I think a lot of it revolves around growth and fixed mindset. And people who have a fixed mindset about themselves being different than the way they are, like have a fixed mindset about themselves and their behavior in general, are when they can use and find things like personality systems and other labels too, and just reinforce their fixed mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, you will use personality systems to reinforce it. If you have a growth mindset and you are uncomfortable with being only the way you are, then personality systems are a really powerful tool and source of information for understanding more about your own patterns, and then actually giving the possibility of being a little bit different, or catching yourself in your loops. Because what we who grow from personality systems find and want to stop is the Groundhog's Day effect of being in the same cycles of pain and blame and comfort, and just any of the same cycles that eventually we realize are probably causing to some extent. And we want to stop the cycles and stop believing they're only outside us. So I think this video I wanted to answer this question of, but I also want to really push on, and I think I'll do other videos, make other videos where I do this, but like really continue emphasizing the central importance of growth and fixed mindset in personality systems, because how you approach systems, and whether you're someone who betters yourself or whether you're someone who makes more excuses, whether you're someone who uses personality systems to make less excuses for yourself and your behavior, or whether you're someone who uses personality systems to make more excuses for your behavior, it hinges on whether you're already approaching your life in a growth mindset way or fixed mindset way. And I think anyone can tell the difference between those two people, although it's really important to, on the topic of growth mindset, to point out that looking at any given person as being growth mindset or fixed mindset, and looking at it in a binary way like that, is also a very fixed mindset view of things or of people. Everyone has growth mindset in some areas, and everyone has fixed mindset in some areas. And I would say the generalized goal of people seeking self-growth and people seeking it through personality system tools or other tools, the general goal is to be growth mindset in as many areas as possible, and specifically the ones where our fixed mindset and our sabotaging our own lives in small or large ways. And the fixed mind, it's important to understand that the fixed mindset is the default, and many people find it easier to be growth mindset in certain areas than others, but the default is to be fixed mindset in most areas of your life. And that applies, it becomes very reflexive and very unconscious, where it's like even learning a topic like growth and fixed mindset, you think it's easy to create that binary of I'm either fixed mindset or growth mindset. And if I'm fixed mindset, that's just going to be the way I am. But that's also a reductive form of labeling, and meaning it's too simple, and it's not. It's conceptual, and it's not a concept that reflects reality very very well. What reflects reality better is that there is a spectrum, a concept that reflects reality better, because the spectrum is also very conceptual, but it's a concept that allows more room for play, more room for change over time. And that's, if you want to think about personality systems, or you want to think about any kinds of labels or any kinds of concepts that you put over reality, and I think growth and fixed mindset are a really powerful conceptual pairing, conceptual binary, then you will find a lot more benefit, I think, in applying growth mindset to growth mindset and every other label. That it's a spectrum and it's movable. It's a spectrum and it's movable. You can be more growth mindset over time, and taking the concept of growth mindset helps that go a lot easier, and helps using personality systems to a positive effect much easier. And I think I want to make more videos soon talking about my thoughts on personality systems and my experiences, and some of my own definitions and discoveries, whatever. And I wanted to start here because I think fixed and growth mindset is the most important underlying it's really the most important underlying concept in objective personality, which they like to call it saviors and demons, but it's really the same thing. And people talk about, I'm not just one or the other. I'm not just introvert, extrovert, thinking, feeling, sensory, intuition. I'm not just one of those. I'm both. And it's like, yes, but you are going to find that you are more fixed mindset in one, and more growth mindset in the other. And so that's really, I think this kind of helps break through a lot of the most common protests, arguments against labels and systems, and specifically personality systems. So I was going to make this like a 5-minute video. Maybe I'll shoot a 5-minute version another time. I think we're up to 13 minutes, but I just wanted to share these thoughts after I had that conversation.